All right, here we go. We are live with another morning of Garmin App Development. Let's make sure our title is correct. I don't think it is. Let's see here. Definitely not going to be correct. This is probably. Oh, that's not what we want. 1 second here. Technical issues. Oh, that's silly. Okay. There we go. Much better. All right, we're not doing fitness right now. We're not doing exercise. We're programming. All right, let's see. All right, we have everything sorted there. Let's go back here. Sound, audio, that all seems good. Alrighty, so let's do a recap of what we're doing. We are building out a Garmin. This is a Garmin device. We're building out an app for it. Garmin devices are used for developing, trying to do two things at once. Let me do this. All right. What are Garmin devices? Garmin devices are used for tracking exercise. They're a little wristwatch, used for running, cycling, all that. I have a problem that I want to solve. My problem is I'm just too darn tired at the end of my run to have to calculate, to make some calculations. Those calculations being how much farther I need to go before turning around to ride back to my location. So let me give you a scenario. I have a 15-mile run, and I do a 13.7-mile loop. How much do I have left of my run? Well, I have 1.7 miles. Instead of having to calculate, what did I say? 13.7, so 1.3. And 1.3 miles left. See, even right now, I don't want to do it. I'm too slow for that. I don't want to have to calculate out what that means, how far I have to go, when I have to turn around. Instead, I'd rather have the watch tell me, oh, hey, you need to turn around now. So the way that's going to work is before my activity, I'm going to tell it how far exactly I need to go, right? And once it knows that, I can then, at a certain point in the run, tell it, oh, hey, you need to start calculating when I should turn around. So let's say I do that 13.7 mile loop, right? I would then push the bottom button here to say, oh, it's time to start calculating that. So I do my loop, and I want to go a little bit further, and then turn around and ride back at that spot because that's where I parked, right? So here's an example of what will happen. We'll have a distance picker at the beginning. And I know it looks crappy right now. We're not too worried about the UI, just the functionality. Let's say we're going to do 15.5. I don't know why anyone would ever do this. 15.53 miles, right? And we're going to hit start. It's going to connect to GPS. And then we're working on this again, UI is not number one priority right now. And we're going to hit start, and we're going to go on, and we're going to start the activity. So we've built up to here. We need to keep building. This is all new to me. I didn't know anything about Garmin app development before doing this, so it's a learning process. If you're a part of the stream, you can learn with me. You can ask questions. You can point out mistakes, like when I'm missing all the semicolons and the compiler then yells at me. Anything you want. And also let me know if the stream is okay. I still relatively new to this, so still figuring out all the fun bits. All right, so where exactly were we? So we were at this point where we're show ready. Okay. I haven't gotten, okay, so this is the prep view delegate. So I'm calling this view right here the prep view. And this is where we we enable location events, continuous. And then we have this callback to on position, where right now it's just going to be calling, system.onPosition, yada yada. I think one thing I haven't seen is that actually being respected, but we'll see. And I also don't know if I need to be exactly in this class for this to, that might be a problem. But anyways, we'll think about that in a sec. So what do we need to do now? We need to go to the page where you've decided that you want, okay, let's see. Let's think about it. I'm on this page and I hit start. What does that mean? Hitting start there would mean that you want to start the exercise, so you'd start running or whatnot. For right now, since this is solely a me problem and I'm not really developing for anyone else, I'm really just going to have this be just running. So we need to go to, so that brings up a question. Right now, I have this delegate that is scoped to the prep view. But the issue we might have is when we leave this prep view, I imagine we also, we'll clean up the view. When we leave the prep view, what happens to the delegate? And more importantly, what happens to the position or GPS tracking? So that's a good question. What is that going to do? I don't currently know. We're going to have to figure it out. All right. Yeah, I don't know. So what that makes me think, probably the solution. So my guess is that this is cleaned up. But, this position doesn't really scope to this prep view delegate. Like, it doesn't take in any class. We just tell it to start. So maybe it's like a global to the whole application, and I can reference it in a different one. See, like even down here, when we do is GPS ready, we're not referencing what we started here. We're just saying position.getInfo. So that gives me some hope that this doesn't need to be more complicated. If it does get cleaned up somehow, then if position does get cleaned up, then we might have to move this to a more global which right now, i.e., which would be our controller. That might be what we have to do, but we can test this as we go. Like I said, this is all learning. Monkey C is an entirely new programming language, entirely new system, and also, it's all new. So I had to figure it out together. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to want a new view, and it's going to be our activity view, and maybe our activity tracking view. Yeah. Let's create a new file. We're going to call this activity tracking view.mc. MC for monkey C. This is a class activity tracking view. And it takes in a function initialize. So initialize, this is our constructor. This is monkey C's way of doing a constructor. All right, so there we go. So what are we going to want to see on this activity page, huh? Man, I want a better tool than Freeform for this, but I don't have one yet. I want an MS Paint for Mac. That'd be nice. Is there such a thing? Alright, so let's see. We're just going to do simple rectangles of different colors. Right? Oh, actually, no, let's make this. Let's make this black, and then make that black with white text. Okay. Make the text white. Because that closely resembles. Alright, so let's see. We probably will want time, total time, activity time, right? So something like activity time, probably, I'm trying to think what I normally see on my Garmin, probably distance, like what really matters to me. Because we're not going to be able to do like laps or anything with this. Oh, let me resize, please. Thank you. Probably total distance. And then, I'm trying to think, what do I normally see? Let's see, we'll start a run. So we have pace, average pace, distance. Okay. So we're just going to copy what we get in here. And hopefully I can find something that's pre-made. So we get our timer, we have our average pace, right? And then we have our pace, and this is the pace for the lap we're doing. Right? And then we're going to have our distance. Okay. That should be pretty good. And then the important key events. Sure. The important key events will be So our key events are the, I don't know what button this is. I guess the back button being pushed. So back button pushed, which represents turnaround. Wow, yeah, that just keeps expanding. Okay, that represents turnaround calc time. And then of course, the would be the start button, stop button to control the activity. That's all I really care about right now. There are like music controls and stuff, but I think the system will just handle that without me having to do anything. Now, it would be nice to have some sort of UI. Oh, come on. So nice to have would be maybe like a green bar around the view to represent turnaround calculating. That makes sense. And also, I think that's pretty good. You know what else might be a nice thing to have? Would be, I usually want to know what the time is. It's like when I'm doing training runs, it's pretty important for me to know what the time is sometimes. Like, let's see. Okay, so let's see. So I'm looking at all the preset complications, I guess we could call it, on here. Distance, timer, pace. It's a more simplified view. That's timer, distance, heart rate zone, and then your aerobic and anaerobic. I don't want any of that. Lap distance. You know, one thing I was thinking about is that this page that I currently have, oh Jesus, this one. You know, this really doesn't need to be a page. This could be a bar at the top. You know, that's how the Garmin watch does it now. If you look here, like, we could do that little bar at the top, and that would probably be better. But that's an optimization that we can do at a later time, and actually makes things something simpler if position does get cleaned up, like I was talking about before. So, nice to have would be some sort of time. You know, time in real life. But I don't know. It's not that important. Okay. All right. I think that is kind of a good. Here, actually, we'll do 3. Another nice to have is combined prep and activity. Okay. So ours our activity tracking view, which is going to extend watch UI.mu. Okay. So we're telling it that this is going to represent a view class, and it's going to have some certain functionality that I can never remember. So let's go to watch UI, and let's go to view. It's not extend, it's extends. And then it's going to have these key functions. Right? Makes sense? Okay. Okay, let's create a new layout for this view. Let's see, layout. Let's just copy one of these. The IDE is super bare bones. It's like, you know, I'm used to Android Studio, so I'm an Android Android developer by practice, and I use Android Studio all the time. So I'm so used to having all the auto completions of things, but it doesn't happen here. All right, so this is our activity layout. We're going to have, let's reference our freeform. So I'm just going to create separate, like a layout of separate labels. So at the top we'll have distance. We're going to have, this is going to be center, top. I'm going to edit the string. The color is going to be white. And justification. Okay, great. And then we're going to have another label. I'm hungry. I think, yeah, four fields. Okay, then we're going to have average pace. And this is going to be left. Is there a middle? No, probably center. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, and then this one is going to be pace. And this is going to be right, center. So right now I'm just doing like very simple, just fitting it into where it likely be, and then we'll update it as we go, because this likely won't be enough. X would be center, and then bottom. All right. We need to change the strings, so let's add some strings real quick. So string ID is equal to this is distance. Now this might not be super important, but it's a good place to start. So let's just copy this. I don't want to write that each time. And this is going to be average pace, timer. So what we're doing here is we're building out a Garmin app. So this is a Garmin activity watch, and I'm building out a specific app to so I do a lot of running, and a common problem I have is that I'm near the end of my run, and I now need to calculate how much farther out I need to go before returning back to a point. So I'm calling it the turnaround app. So I'm building an app to do that. This is all new to me. I didn't know anything about Garmin app development before now, and so we're just kind of learning together and building it out. Some interesting things about Garmin app development is that it's using a custom programming language called Monkey C, and it's it's a pretty interesting environment. What am I looking for here? I'm looking for layouts. Okay. So this is going to be distance. This is going to be average pace. If you have any questions or are interested in anything, please let me know, and I'll happily try to answer you. All right, I think that's right. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So we have our rough layout of what the page is going to look like. So let's go back to our activity tracking, and we're not going to set it to main mount. We're going to set it to activity layout. Okay. There we go. And then on update, on hide. Okay, so this is going to be showing, I feel like for this, we're going to want to have maybe every half-second timer or something. At the end of the day, we're going to want an end timer. We're going to initialize the end timer. Okay, this is getting caught in my keyboard. Too many chords around here, you know? Let's go to prep view, end timer here. Okay. End timer is equal to that. I'm going to say, now we should do the end timer after the layout, because we ran into an issue before where we were actually trying to update the UI before all the UI elements had been loaded, and it was crashing the app. So we don't want to do that again. I want to just copy this. Let's see. Here we go. So this will be update activity. So we're going to create a function. So the way this timer works is that we're starting a timer. We're saying when the timer goes off, call a function update activity. We're going to do that every 1 second, and it's going to be repeat infinitely. All right. So in here, just spit a little bit. So the idea of this function is we will update, let's see, get the updated values for every field. And like I said, these are kind of just placeholders. We're going to put the actual values in there. And then, we'll make the UI a little bit more interesting as we go. Once we learn how to do that, of course. All right, so update activity. So let's make a activity tracking new file, activity tracking delegate .mc. Okay. Okay. Activity tracking delegate. Function initialize. Okay. And there's going to be some things that we want. What do we want? See, and this is where I kind of wish that Garmin would release like just basic activity views, because I don't really want to rebuild what they have, but I guess I might have to. Let's see. But, okay, like I said, let's not get too bogged down in that. We can always update the UI as we go. So the activity tracking delegate, we're going to have a reference to it in delegate. All right. And I'm going to set it here. Actually, we're going to get it passed into this delegate. The reason I'm doing that is because the delegate will likely have to handle UI events like pushing buttons. So we only want to initialize it once in the class that's going to create this, and then have the and then tell the UI that it's handling the input events to words. All right, so then we have our initialize here, and the first thing I want to make sure we can do is start the activity session, right? So the question is, when we go to this activity, do we want to just auto start the session? Yeah, let's just do that. Okay, so sensors, I don't care about sensors right now, I care about session, activity, session. What are complications? I don't. What are data fields? That might be what we want. Data fields function as plugins for a Garmin activity experience. After a user installs a data field from the store, they can place them inside their activity pages for any Garmin activity. That's interesting. But that's not really what I want. No, that's not what I want. Activity recording. Here we go. So activity recording, create session, use the session.start method to So what we're doing here is we're looking at the documentation. We're looking at how we record fit files. In addition to being able to play back existing fit files, the simulator can also record files The following table describes the different options available for activity recording. Fit developer fields. Now imagine you want to add a new metric, Namaste, to the yoga app. Oh, Namaste's, okay. This metric will combine heart rate, accelerometer, and other sensor data in a single value and does not have an analog in any Garmin recording. we need the fit contributor module, which allows you to add a new metric to a fit recording and display it on a Garmin Connect. So I don't really want to add a new data field. Like, I kind of just want to show So we know we need a session, right? But what else can we do with the session? So let's go to the actual documentation. Session. The activity recording module will allow apps to access the fit file recording capabilities of the device. Apps can use this module to allow the user to start and stop recordings, create laps, and save recorded data. Sport defines a type of activity, but is not guaranteed to change device behavior. This may cause different algorithms to apply to the sensor data. For example, a device that does not natively support multi-sport recording will not gain sport multi-sport transition features. Okay. Use the select, start, stop, or touch for recording. If Toybox has active recording, activity recording, check device for activity recording. Okay. So if we can do activity recording and the session is equal to null, then session is recording. And okay, so we're checking if we've set up this session, and if it's not already recording, then we will create a new session, and the name is generic. Okay, the activity is generic. Okay, subsport is generic. So this will be, run or whatever. I don't think there'll be a sub. We'll start. All right, so this is when the start stop button is pushed. Okay. So sport running, here we go. That's what we'd want. And sport 1 has been deprecated. Oh. So yeah, this is a little nitpick I have with the Garmin documentation, is it tells me that this item, this enum has been deprecated, but it doesn't tell me what I should be using instead. That's a little nitpick. So then, if this is all deprecated, is this even the right thing to use? Sport 1, Sport 2, Subsport. Okay, so it's activity.sport that I want to be using instead. Activity.sport. And how did I find that? Well, going back here, this is the create session, and it takes options as sport, activity recording sport, which we know to be deprecated, or activity.sport. So let's see. So then we have our run. Okay. The activity.info class contains information about the current activity. The average distance. Let's remember. Okay, but that's the average swim stroke distance from the previous interval. No. Bearing, the current bearing in radians. Okay. Current heading. Current location accuracy. Current speed. The distance to the destination. That's interesting. How does it know? How does it know that? How does it know that? Elevation at destination? What? Alright. Cadence, heart rate, max heart rate. Huh. Max speed. Name of destination. Again, this destination thing. Raw ambient pressure. Cool. Start location. Oh, you know what? This might be a nice little shortcut that we can explore at some point, but instead of having to push the button, yeah, but then we're given, well, okay, I'll finish the thought. Instead of having to push the button to say, oh, it's time to start calculating the turnaround, it just does it automatically. But that could cause issues. Probably better just to give the control to the user. So what I'm not seeing here is like distance and workout step. The activity module provides a way to retrieve available info for the current activity. Activity info is automatically provided by the compute method and data fields. The get activity method is available for use within apps or in other cases such as data field initialization. This module also provides two sets of constants, swim stroke, timer state. So I want to find data field. This might be the key to all my woes. Data field. No, data field. Data field. A data field is a special view that automatically provides, so it's a view in of itself. Oh. So I could probably, instead of having this be a layout with a bunch of, I can probably just have data fields. Cool, but how do I... The system will call the onUpdate method inherited from the view when a data field is displayed by the system. Because compute and onUpdate are asynchronous, there's no guarantee that compute will be called before onUpdate. For this reason, variables should never be initialized in compute. So this is great, and I'm glad this is here. But I want data fields that are already created. Huh. Interesting. Okay. So maybe create field ID, data type, fit contributor data type. Yeah, so what I'm trying to figure out here is there a set group of pre-created data fields that are useful for each activity? Because I want distance, I want the timer. The timer should be pretty easy. I want the average pace and the pace, all things that I know the activity is already recording, but how do I access it? Smart recording. Yeah, tell me about the fit format. Maybe that'll give me some more information. Getting familiar with fit. So this is a completely new area of the documentation for me. Okay. File types. Contains examples of using the Fit SDK to solve real-world problems. There are recipes for encoding, decoding activity. This seems like not what I want. This is like processing the data. What is FitGen? No. Yeah, it's just a special, but we shouldn't have to do that. That doesn't seem like something we need to be doing in this. Yeah. Okay. Because I would hate to do a bunch of work, calculate this stuff out manually when it's already there, and I just have to find it. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time doing this, and that's okay. It's been 48 minutes, and I haven't written a single thing. That's okay. You know, sometimes it just, you got to do the work into investigating what's required. The Fit Contributor module allows applications and data fields to record field data into Fit files. I don't want that. I'm not creating new data, I'm just tracking the current data. Oh. Back hurts a little bit. Gotta work on my setup. The activity module contains an interface for activity monitoring data. That sounds right. Get heart rate history, get history, get info. Okay. No. It's not what we want. The activity module provides a way to retrieve available info for the current activity. Okay, right. Activity info is automatically provided by the compute method in data fields. Great. I know that. But I want to say, I already... Get activity info. Get the current activity info. Right, which is all this stuff. Altitude, average distance. That doesn't... Why is it the average swim stroke? How specific is that? That's not what I want. The elapsed distance. Now that might be what I want. Okay. Alright, elapsed distance. Elapsed distance. That's one I do want. Okay. Good. Elapsed time. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Elapsed time. That's another one. Good. What do we want? Let's see. Okay, we have distance. We have time. Now we need pace. Now, this average pace is the average pace for the whole activity. This is the pace for the current activity, which I don't necessarily need. In fact, that's kind of optional. I'd be fine with it just being average pace. The only reason I say that is I don't know if it's too hard to get. It's not the number one most important thing. Okay, so let's look at elapsed distance. Here. The elapsed distance of the current activity in meters. Okay, the elapsed time of the current activity in milliseconds. Great. Now pace. I want pace. I think it might be time to look at the activity workout interval step. Contains information about the current workout interval step. I don't know what a workout interval step is. I think this is when you're doing multi-sport activities, which we're not worried about right now. Okay. It's hard to say. Hard to say. Yeah, I need at least average pace. And I'd really like to have pace too, because that helps me determine average pace is essentially just how far you've gone and how long it's taken. So that could be calculated, but it seems like such a basic thing that it should just be there for me, right? I think it's time to pull up the forum, wherever that is. Not that. Not that. This. I want to search. Yeah, current pace data field. Wait. Where did you find current pace in the documentation? So, hi, I'm trying to create my own 3 data fields. data field. I would like heart rate, cadence, pace as the 3 fields. When I look at the document, it has current pace, but using this it will give me an error. I've also seen some others done at pace 1 minute, pace 30 seconds and such. I'm wondering how this is done. How come doing this gives me... What? Did this person literally just respond with a question? Simple data field. Oh, simple data field. I didn't look at that one yet, did I? Simple data field. Create a simple data field is a special view that automatically provides activity info once per second in the compute method. Just like in data field, a simple data field automatically provides activity.info once per in exchange for offering for the flexibility offered in the data field, all field layouts is handled automatically. Oh, I'm okay with that. So you, oh yeah, you literally just calculate the current heart rate and whatnot. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back. Okay, well I can answer this person's question, why that isn't working. When an activity is not recording, the fields of the activity structure are null. In the simulator, you have to either load up an existing .fit file or simulate it by doing that. Additionally, you need to write your code to avoid using a null object reference. Okay, that's it. I'm not sure if it has been fixed or not. The null check should have fixed the problem. If you create a Garmin... Okay, you can log the issues. Wait, what is he trying to do? He's trying to do heart rate, cadence, and pace. Yeah, cool. You have determined the distance traveled, time elapsed. Wow, so he just provided the code for sampling every 30 seconds. This seems like not... Where do I get current lap, current pace? There we go. I can't find class that returns a current lap. Am I overlooking something? I also don't see current pace. If I want current pace in a minute, do I need to calculate based on the current speed? Yes, through speed. Current speed? No, not a 404. Speed? Where do I get speed from? No, that's definitely not what I want. Activity, recording, session. Add a lap to the current recording. Not super helpful. Okay. Alright. Current pace data field. No, it's the same thing. Okay, so I like data field. I just want data fields that are already created. Full screen. Data field plus data field. Omnibag field obscurity. Runners field. Data field and GPS. I'd like to develop a data field which needs for this I use the following code to compute. Data fields, total memory. Initial grade percent data field. So I might just have to create my own data field, which is unfortunate. Not really what I want, but okay. App layouts. First app. Yeah, this looks like something I want. Hello, I'm running. Is it possible? Is there a different data? Find some sensible default configurations. Yeah, that would be great. There are two types of data fields that can be used in native apps. And there's also a max of how many can be used in a specific native activity, such as run. And on many, it's a max of 2, complex and simple DFs. There are samples of SDK samples. Can't access data fields, native or CIQ and a CIQ watch app, but in most cases, it's fairly easy to code the logic in a watch app. For example, you get speed in meters per second. You can convert that to something like miles per hour or kph quite easily. With the layouts, are you thinking that the layouts used in building something, you can build data fields or watch apps without using them at all? So it sounds like he's pretty much saying you have to build your own data field. Okay, all right. I was trying to add data field file, found some. You need to duplicate the functionality. Yeah. Okay, so okay. Okie dokie. A lot of people have asked about doing with configuration. Wow, look at that. That looks nice. Much nicer than my app so far. Seems weird, but it really seems like I need I'm fairly experienced with but new Connect IQ. I'm looking at the stage of reading through all available. I'm going to write enhancements and fitness. It's an undocumented proprietary. Let's reverse engineer some parts of it. Can IQ data? Huh. Data field communicate with a phone. That's kind of cool. All right, then. All right, so that's what we're going to do. Is we're going to start with the simplest data field possible, which will make the timer. And let's look at the sample app and see how they do that. So here's a simple data field. Set the label of the data field here. Label must be a keyword. Okay. And then we compute. Huh. That's actually pretty cool. Okay, that's easy. Here was another. This is a class just called Fit Contributions. Heart rate. So a data field is a UI element, isn't it? Who's using this? So this is a simple generic ant plus heart field, and it's okay. This is a simple, so we want to see where that's being used. Generic. Oh, okay. That's interesting. I want to test something. Can I mute that and then still keep talking? Yeah, I can. Okay, that's useful to know. So, we're going to call this, new file, timer data field. Okay, class timer data field extends simple data field extends watch UI dot simple data field function initialize. That's wrong. Initialize. Right. I need to import watch UI. Why are you giving me errors? Okay, let's stop that. Oh. Okay. Dun, dun. Okay, let's go back to my timer date field, and I did that wrong, so let's paste that in so I have it. Oh. Okay. You're being pretty aggressive with the error squiggles there, buddy. So we're going to do simple data field dot initialize, and then we're going to do label is equal to just timer. Why are we showing errors? Kind of annoying. Oh, I know why. We need to rename this to a .mc. MC. There we are. That's better. Alright, so we initialize, and now we have this function compute, which takes in info, and then I think we're just going to return info dot elapsed time. There. So then how do we use it? Data field. Okay. You know what? I know the Namaste app does this. Where's the Namaste? Namaste view? Oh, looks like they don't actually have a data field. Okay. Never mind then. Whoa, there's a Strava API? What? Huh, interesting. Okay, let's not get distracted. Okay, so there's our timer, our data field for our timer. So then I want to, can I just plug it in? How do I? I mean, it's just a, right? It's just a, it's just a, um, it's just a drawable, right? No, it's not a drawable. It's just a view. Known subclasses? Yeah. Okay. So, it's just a view. How do I just add? How do I just add a? Insert a layer. Insert the layer at the given index in the layer stack. What is the layer stack? A representation of a view layer that will be drawn bit by system onto the screen during screen update, which includes as well as animation playback if supported. That's not really what I want, I don't think. Oh, there's an action menu? What? What is the action menu? Well, that's kind of cool. What is the action menu? Action menu view. How is it different than anything else? Class that represents the action menu delegate, which can be used to relay events regarding to the action menu. I mean, it's just a menu, so I don't know. All right, let's go to core topics. Let's go to layouts. Can I put which are watch UI job? Can drawable label? I want a list of things that I can put in here. Custom drawables. In some cases, use a drawable entry within a layout. Positioning? No, that's the... Graphics? Graphics module handles drawing bitmaps. Drawing context. That's what DC stands for. Okay, drawing context. Draw a text string. Interesting. Okay. Right. Layers are used to fuse multiple levels of drawable content belonging to the same view. Once added to a view, layers are rendered on screen automatically in the order they're added. Okay, that's not really what I want. Is it? Because I know there's the function push view. Where is that? Let's find that. Push view. Get current view, get glance view, get goal view. Yeah, here's push view. Push a view onto the view stack. Yeah, that's not what I want, because that's more like I want to add a view to a view, like a subview. Is there a thing for that? So a layer is not the same thing as a view. Alright, let's go back to here. Add view. Add mini data field into a single view. I'm thinking about an app which should look like native running cycling apps, at least for the aspect of configurable data. At this time I made a first step, using single view divided into 4 field implemented from scratch. This works fine, but I have a feeling to invoke the wheel for rendering aspects of data. Hence question, how to have view implementing one-to-end fields by using available classes. You can't, or you shouldn't use data field or a simple data field in an app. What? You can't or shouldn't use data field or simple data field in an app. Oh. Okay. You can create a custom drawable and draw that on multiple places on the screen. I take the following approach. Create a model class that has the attributes for holding the data you want in your data fields and one or more function to get that data. Create custom drawables as data fields, which you can place on the screen in the layout. Okay. Have a global timer that fires every second and first updates the model, and then do a UI request.update. And the draw function of the data field call the model to retrieve the data. Yeah, I agree with this dude. Okay, thanks for having confirmed this, that it's not possible without re-implementing all the rendering part. So, what's up with that? Why do we need to... Alright, Garmin. We gotta be serious here. Garmin, serious question. Why, if I want to show default activity information, do I have to re-implement all the UI? Why is that? That seems way too painful. Instead, you should give me default UI plugins that I can put into my activity view. Because every single developer who wants to do an activity sort of app is going to need these very similar things. So there should be something basic that I can just plug in. Now, if I'm wrong and there is something, I just haven't found it yet, that'd be great to know. I mean, I don't get it. It should really just, data fields should just be there should be a bunch of data fields, basic data fields, pace, distance, all that stuff that I can just plug in. Why? Why haven't you given that to us? All right, rant over. I understand what you're writing, but it's difficult for me to design multiple field monitor app from scratch. Do you have a link to real example code? Based on that, it'd be easier to start my own first steps and adjust to my own needs. Thanks so much. So this dude created a fancy... Okay. Sorry, not to rail on this, but Garmin, this is ridiculous. Data fields should be reusable UI elements that I can plug in anywhere. Because a lot of developers want to create activity screens or a new activity that has basic information in it, like all your native activities do. So why do I have to re-implement those from scratch, the whole thing? It seems unreasonable. There should just be a way to plug in, a bunch of default activity screens. Why would you not do that? Instead, I'm going to have to copy code from a forum where a random person, wrote it out 8 years ago. I don't understand. I don't understand. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Okay, so we don't want this data field. That's garbage. We're gonna make a new layout. Make a new file. We're gonna call this activity. Why? Activity layout. Let's see. Okay, so we have something called an entity. No idea what that is. I guess it's a reusable thing. Okay. We're gonna have a data field 1, data field 2, data field 3. Okay. Then we're gonna have a resources file. Which I think we already have, don't we? resources XML. What the hell? Resources. New file. Resources.xml. Okie dokie. All right, so data field divisions. Oh boy. I can't have this be. Is there a way to do this? I don't want to do it like this. Nope. Nope. Okay, almost there. Alright, there we go. So this is it's doing something. Surely is doing something. Data field extends UI. I think we moved away from, so do import, import. Okay, so we did the data field visions, then we have the data field view. Oh boy, I don't want to manually fix all the... Alright. Gotta do what we gotta do. Okay, we need a new... I'm gonna paste that. I'm gonna save it. We're gonna call this data field view. It's not JS. Come on, please. It's monkey C. I can't believe you wouldn't know that. Alright. Oh man. I mean, this is pretty much everything I want. Not really, but okay. Can I? All right. You know what? Let's be smarter about this. We're gonna tab you all, right? That's better. And then we'll tab that, and we will tab that, and tab that, and then everything in here, we're going to tab that, and tab. Oh, else ifs. Oh no. Oh, not the else ifs. I'm pretty sure there's a when or a switch statement capability in this programming language. Okay. But I'm not going to let gift code in the face. No, certainly not. That goes there. So let's tab all that. Maybe I can just tab it. Yep. Oh, wow. Okay. Tab that. And tab that. And tab that. Almost there. Almost there. Okay. So now this code is kind of readable now. So now I got to figure out what this actually does and if it's what I want. Okay, so let's see here. Data field view. Alright, so we have uninitialized, which just initializes the view. We have it on layout, which just updates the layout. Load your resources here. Okay, update layout. Select a layout based on the amount of data fields. Get property data field quantity, which is here, 4. Okay. If num fields is equal to 1. Oh, that was nice of him. Look at this dude. What a nice dude. Is that different? Okay. Called when this view is brought to the foreground. Restore the state of this view. Yeah. Doesn't currently do anything. That's fine. And then we have on update. So need to load a new layout if the field count has changed. Oh, look at that. You can update the layout. That's cool. Assign the correct data based on the field configurations. So for field num data field plus. Okay, so this is the first data field 1. Get app, get property. If type. So the property of data field 1. So this guy made it a little bit more complicated than it needs to be, which is kind of nice. He made it configurable, but it doesn't need to be this complicated, I don't think. Can you format this for me? Can you format it for me, please? I don't like this ugly XML. I'm not really sure what this is doing. So get app get property, this would be data field 1. So I want to find the property data field 1. Okay, data field 1. I don't understand. So if type is equal to speed, assign the correct data based on the field configuration. Well, okay, I see. Find drawable field num, which would be, so let's say 1 label. Find drawable ID. Drawable ID. Data field 1 label. I see. Data field 1 label. Data field 2 1 value. Okay, so based on the layout, we're going to look in each of these and then apply them. Yeah, this is definitely more complicated than it needs to be, but that's okay. So then, I want to see this view in action, just so I can see it, and then I think we'll probably call it for the day. So let's go to the prep view delegate, and right now we do on select, but I want to do watch UI dot push view. My view is going to be a new what did I call it? Data field view. Data field view. Right? And there's not going to be any delegate. And watch UI slide right. Okay, there we go. Now, I think that'll just work. Let's see. So we're building. Does it need to be using in this instance? If it does, that's fine. That's fine. Get behind that. Semicolon. Come on, baby. Give me a build successful. Oh. Oh, right. Build. Oh, look at all the errors. Yeah. Set text no longer works. Set text. For new apps, I can use the default for the extension in VS Code. What?
Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power
Boy.
within one night to dream 75 years of time. Or any length of time you wanted to have. And you would, naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. Every kind of pleasure. And after several nights,
So, the reason we had an error there is that because apparently strict typing is on now, which I didn't realize. Alright, so now we're typing each of those to a text. That should solve the problem. Build it! Oh, almost 5:30. Oh, build successful. Alright, let's see this. Oh no, I just built. God damn it. I'll build again.
But now let's have a surprise. Let's have
I forgot I did that. Okay. Build successful. Run without debugging. Here we go. Alright. Yeah, none of this really matters. That's ready. Oh. Looks good. That's a good UI. I like that. Okay. But at least we have the example of what it can look like. Right? So we can have the lines. We know how to do that now. You know, these need to be spaced better. I don't know why that's not working, but these need to be spaced into each of the boxes. They have different sizes. So that gives me kind of a template for how to do this. So it's going to have to be something I do tomorrow. So for now, let's say this is good. This isn't perfect, but gives a template for how to do it in the future. Yeah, but that's just really disappointing. It's really disappointing to me that it's just really that's just really disappointing. It's disappointing to me that to do something simple like show a um, information like standard basic activity information for Garmin um, watches or for Garmin apps, you have to essentially build it all out again. I mean, how many apps have duplicated the same code over and over and over again? I don't know. That's ridiculous. All right. And that's it for me today. Great rest of your day, everyone. Bye.